in 1967, Roland Barthes wrote La mort de l'auteur, the death of the author, an essay proclaiming that the opinions of an author on what his text may mean are irrelevant to the interpretation of said text. In 2020, Julian and Magnus decided that the author's abilities are just as irrelevant. This is Kill the Author. Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of Kill the Author, lucky number, and Merry Christmas, everybody. We did exactly as we said last week. This new episode is coming 2 weeks after the one before it. We did not take like 2 months to deliver another episode. We directly delivered on everything we said.
It's not been 3 months.
It's not been 3 months.
It's impossible.
Magnus, I looked at my computer screen and it told me that it's February.
It's impossible.
That's impossible. It can't be.
Theoretically, we should be at like the beginning of the third week of December. Like somewhere around 14th, 15th.
Somewhere around that.
I don't remember anything going wrong there, right?
Okay, so around that time, we did plan on filming the new episode. Like, we did talk about it and wanted to do it. And I think we even had a date set for it.
Yes.
And then
our household literally fell apart.
Yeah, would you mind telling the audience what happened?
So I brought the coronavirus into the house.
And infected literally everyone except for me.
So then we spent 3 weeks apart, split in two.
I lived somewhere else for a while.
He stayed somewhere else. We were all stuck inside for weeks.
Yeah, which kinda, like the fever, the everything basically kinda harmed our episode production a bit. And then it took forever to get to the point again where you felt like all right after you were technically cured. Exhaustion symptoms and all of that stuff afterwards. Corona's not fun, guys. Wear your mask.
It's not.
And stay inside if you can. Ah, shit, I said the name. Now YouTube's gonna demonetize this video.
Man, all those people who would have demonetized the episode.
All that good cash we could have gotten. I mean, we've made I think literally nothing so far. I think literally our YouTube ad revenue is 0 at this point.
Perfect. See, there's no pressure. So, the disease went well.
Yeah, everyone's
we didn't have a severe case. I did apparently lose my ability to taste forever because I can still not taste anything.
Not necessarily forever, but hey.
For way too long.
It's a tasteless anime.
Disappointed. That was quite a tasteless joke from you.
Hey! We're back and we're not funny.
So, I don't remember shit. It's been too long.
I looked into my notes from the episode before just to figure out where we were. And you sent me a time code, what happened before that, at what point the episode started. And I started off on the wrong time code, because yours was how much was left of the episode, and mine was how much of the episode had happened at that point. And I did not notice for a bit. I made some notes of things we had already seen because I forgot about them. So I don't know, does that say something about the memorability of the episode we're currently looking at? We're currently at the second half of episode 7 of School Days.
I hadn't forgotten because I can never forget about School Days.
Anyways, what happened in the last episode was bad things, I think, for the most part.
Let me go through my notes. Yeah, it does in big caps say bad things.
Yeah, I can see nothing on that page except for bad things. That's pretty good. That's pretty good that you made an entire episode out of those notes. The most important things that happened was Kotonoha got blocked off of Makoto's phone by Setsuna. And I think that's actually the biggest plot point of the episode.
Yeah.
That features a lot in the second half of this episode too. Which, is this anime starved for content? Or are phones extremely important to the theme? We've concluded before that phones are important to the theme of this show.
We've talked about it before.
And in this episode it kinda comes back, but also it kinda doesn't. It's interesting. We'll get to it later. I made some notes about it, especially about the end of the episode. But do you want to introduce us to what happens in this half?
So the last scene was a pretty upsetting scene of Kotonoha on the roof, where it starts raining. She's all on her own, waiting for Makoto to show up, and he never does.
Yeah.
And then immediate tone shift.
Yeah.
We're now back in class 3, aka Makoto's class. And I have one note for this at the beginning, which is garbage.
Yeah, I have slightly more elaborate notes. I wrote down leering shots of Sekai in maid uniform. That's basically what you were talking about, right?
I just condensed it into one word.
What I also thought was interesting is that the next shot shows like Taisuke fucking lusting over her.
Yeah, with Hikari next to him, being angry.
The joke with Hikari is I have to look up her name every single time we record an episode.
I can remember it because the connection we made with Hickory beefsteak.
Anyways, what I thought it was interesting about that was that it's like kind of portrayed, like to me it was portrayed like what we're seeing is what Taisuke's seeing. So like it's literally male gaze.
That makes sense, quite literally.
From a male gaze.
I assume this maid outfit that she has is the Little Sisters Cafe outfit. Which makes it more upsetting.
Yeah. So it should not be this sexual.
So it consists of a white blouse with a black bow tie and a way too short red dress on top of it. And like a flouncy headband. I had so much trouble figuring out what you call these things.
These frills. I think it's frills, right?
I think it was a headband.
You know these you see on maids. Those things you see on maids.
Things,
on
right?
Anime maids.
On old-timey people in pictures.
On old-timey people in pictures and anime maids. Taisuke is punished for his leering by Hikari. Hikari slaps him for his actions.
So we have a good start to the episode so
We have
far.
a good start to the episode, but also this introduces a shocking plot point in this episode.
Okay.
And that is that Hikari is still shocked by Taisuke being a massive sack of sexualizing shit.
We found out before why Hikari wants to have anything to do with Taisuke.
Yeah.
We can see preparations happening for the festival. Some unnamed extras hanging decorations, unanimated, just a still image.
Yeah, there's so many in this episode. Like I literally noticed in this episode how many still images of like groups there were.
We can see like a cafe poster being drawn and a menu that someone's making. And we see something that we've
talked about before, yeah.
That we've mentioned before, which is that this cat mascot walks in.
Yeah.
And Makoto and Sekai take the head off, and inside of it is Setsuna. Yeah.
And the cat mascot was moving like clumsily, is something you could see there. Like she wasn't used to it. And the question is this an argument against the discount phone theory? Or is this an argument towards it? Like she's playing mind games.
Maybe.
She's just playing out that she can't navigate in this suit so well, when in actuality we all know she can, because she did that exact same thing before to try to bring Kotonoha and Makoto apart.
When they took the head off, it just seemed like it's way too hot inside there. It reminds me of like Masked Singer when the singer gets voted out and they remove the head and they're just sweating bullets underneath.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like, way too hot.
This is basically a fursuit. Have you ever seen a furry shed his coat?
I don't want to see a furry shed his coat.
I have seen a furry shed his coat. And it's just sweaty people. There's just sweaty people in there.
So we move on to the next scene, which is in class 4, aka Kotonoha's class. Where we see preparations happening for their thing, their zombie cafe that they're doing.
Yeah.
And we get another dose of Kotonoha bullying.
Yeah.
Featuring Kato and the squad.
My notes for this scene are: mean girls tell Kotonoha to build the fuck slab.
I did go back in my notes to see whether we called the sex room, and we didn't. We called it the fuck room.
Yeah, okay.
Important things.
That means I probably named it. I like powerful F words.
It already says fuck room in my notes, so we probably both instinctively had the same idea. Yeah, probably.
Basically, what I found noticeable about this scene was, in retrospect to what happened before in this episode, which was Kotonoha like finding out that Makoto had blocked her, and then like looking at her phone sadly on the roof. She seems pretty normal here. Like something that I thought about was like, if I was in Kotonoha's situation here, because like a few times in previous episodes I talked about how I could relate to Kotonoha and being ghosted and all of that by someone who can who you can mainly like talk to through the phone, how feeling blocked by that person might feel and how you might respond to it. I talked about that I relate to Kotonoha in a lot of these scenes. And I absolutely did not relate to Kotonoha here because she just keeps going with her day. This is still the same day. I would be looking for fucking Makoto. I would try to figure out what's going on here. Why is it telling me that his phone has blocked me? Is something wrong with his phone?
Yeah, Minami, that's one of the squad members. You know, I'm just gonna call the squad members pointy hair, bandana, and bangs. So headband, spiky hair, bangs.
I tend to call them Queen Bee and the squad because like separating the rest of them is not important, basically ever.
They tell Kotonoha to get sheets and a firm board that you can lay down and mess around on.
Yeah, the fuck slab.
Yeah, the fuck room. I'm staying with the fuck room.
As they previously mentioned, they're gonna record people in that room having sex on the day of the big festival. And now they are producing, the slab. The slab that everybody's gonna fuck on.
Yeah, another squad member actually says to the first squad member not to tell her too much. Probably so that Kotonoha won't call the police.
Yeah, because this is highly illegal in every way.
Kotonoha does ask them what they'll use the stuff for. But Koto tells her to shut up or they won't help her. With what?
I don't think they've been helping her at all so far.
What are they helping her with?
I mean, with the preparations, I guess?
Are they threatening that she's gonna have to do everything herself?
Because that's a bad threat. She's already doing everything herself.
She says that she doesn't have time because she has a panel meeting coming up. And they tell her to abandon it. And they're saying that they're missing up on all of their clubs, like in a way of, like, we have to sacrifice our clubs, so you have to sacrifice your board meeting.
Yeah.
And even another one of the girls points out, wait, what do you mean, like, your sports club isn't taking place right now? Like, shut up, you idiot.
I think you've forgotten the most important thing about this scene, the thing that the camera wants to tell us the most.
Yeah. And that's a really weird crooked zoom onto one eye of Kotonoha.
Yeah.
On her forehead as well. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. That's one thing. And the other thing is, did you notice that you can see her bra in the scene?
Here's the interesting thing. It is mentioned in the next scene.
Yeah.
Before that, I didn't notice.
No, it was the first thing I noticed when the shot came to them. It's like this group of girls and one of them just has a fucking see-through shirt.
I did not notice
and
that.
And I was thinking like, okay, what? What happened with Kotonoha? Did she... Oh yeah, it rained that previous scene.
Maybe.
That's why.
Maybe I'm just a better man than you.
Maybe I just noticed fucking sexism better than you.
What? It's not... It's just the camera is very weird. Like, because she's basically just looking at the camera forever. Yeah. And then she says, okay, I'll do it. Like, it's so weird. The camera's super crooked and super high. The camera is so high, Tanaka must have been holding it.
Who's Tanaka?
The big guy.
Oh, it's the big... it's the big guy. The one that
I made a joke that everyone understands.
If they listened to the previous episode very recently.
Well, he has a broken arm that explains why the camera's crooked.
God. That joke could have been really funny under very different circumstances.
Yes. We're tired.
Yeah, we're tired. We're tired. If you notice that something's wrong with this episode, we're very tired.
So now we have a scene in the hallway. So Kotonoha runs into Makoto and Setsuna on this scene. They're coming out of a room probably to go to the board meeting, where once again Setsuna aggressively tries to keep them apart. We've had this before. Setsuna just being unreasonably cruel to Kotonoha.
Yeah. Something, by the way, that I want to mention about this scene in particular, and also just generally the start of this episode, it managed something that School Days hadn't done in a while, and maybe it's because I hadn't watched it in a good bit, but I was invested. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen when Kotonoha and Makoto run back into each other, because I had just been thinking about, like, what would I have done in this situation? Why isn't she looking for Makoto after finding out that he's blocked her?
Well, she is talking to him.
Yeah.
In fact, he does acknowledge her. Like, he wants to talk to her. Possibly to gawk at her tits, which are visible through her shirt.
That's probably what's going on here. She asks if something is wrong when they talk to each other briefly. And I was like... And that... I was just thinking, like... Why aren't you bringing it up? Like, why aren't you bringing up what's going on? Like, you're getting a message whenever you try to text him that this number is not available to you. I would mention it.
She does later in the episode.
She does later, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to it. Yeah.
Here's an interesting kind of theory about this that I have. Because she tells him that she's not wearing her jacket, which she thought was weird, because she's letting it dry. You know, you can see that she's wet. After this, she says that she can't attend the meeting because she has some stuff to get. And he asks if he can help her. And I thought that maybe he figured that during the break, if she's wet, she might have been on the roof all alone. So maybe he feels guilty about this.
That might be, but he doesn't really show any signs of guilt, I feel.
He never shows any signs of...
He does show slight signs of guilt at one point in this episode, which I noted.
We can't speak. We're too tired.
Basically, he doesn't show any clear guilt at this point to me. My opinion is more that it's just she's having a wet top and he's like, I want to look at this more.
Yeah, this might just be, the shot might just exist so that they can show us that Kotonoha's top is wet.
Yeah, and that he notices. Basically, when Makoto wants to go to help, he's getting slapped by Setsuna.
Setsuna, like, keeps pulling on his arm and tells him, Makoto, go, stop. And then Kotonoha is discouraged, looks down and walks away.
Yeah, like immediately. Yeah. Like she doesn't try to do anything anymore with the situation. She just walks away as soon as Kotonoha pulls at Makoto.
Then Makoto actually addresses Setsuna.
I was so baffled by this.
And he's like, what is wrong with you? Why do you have some kind of grudge with Kotonoha?
And like, come the fuck on, dude. Like, how have you not noticed before? She literally blocked her from your phone while you were in front of her.
And then she responds with, like, looking down and then, like, you're Sekai's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
I've heard this before coming from Sekai about Kotonoha.
Yeah.
I can't be with you because Kotonoha's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which I think is a hint at the fact that she's into Makoto. This will become more relevant later. Like she's
Setsuna.
Yeah, Setsuna.
Oh.
Yeah, in a way because she like looks down like this and says, "I don't want you to hang out with Kotonoha because your Setsuna's with you. Setsuna's your girlfriend." Again, yeah, because Sekai's your girlfriend. Again, like Sekai because she actually likes him and she doesn't want to admit it to herself. That was my theory.
I think we remember what happens with Setsuna later on differently. And it's going to be interesting to see which interpretation is right. Because from what I remember, it wasn't portrayed as she's into Makoto. The thing that happens later.
Okay.
We'll get to that when we'll get to that. But I get what you mean. That would be nice foreshadowing. That basically the same thing is happening again. Makoto's just irresistible, huh?
Yeah.
It's just... everybody loves him. He actually does follow through. Like, even though Setsuna tries to hold him back, he actually does go after Kotonoha.
He says he can't just leave her alone like this. To which I thought, you've been doing this for 7 episodes.
Yeah.
You've been abandoning her all the time. Why you suddenly feel like you should do anything?
That might actually speak towards your point that he noticed that she was wet from being on the roof.
Maybe.
And he feels bad about that.
And then when he arrives... he sees her talking with Taisuke.
Yeah.
And he looks pretty surprised about it. So we then figure out that Taisuke is helping her instead.
Yeah.
To get her equipment. And Makoto's just kind of hitman-like, hiding behind the corner listening to him.
I think we get to the worst shot of the episode here.
One of them.
This is the only one where I deliberately wrote, never before have I felt this much hate. So we have... okay, it's actually multiple shots. It's 2 or 3 shots in
So, first of all, Hikari and Nanami show up from his class. And then I catch him and they're like, wait, what's going on? What are you doing there? And she's like, look in that there, Taisuke. Look at this. And they are looking at it. We'll see in a second. And then we get the shot that I assume you mean.
Yeah.
Which is... Kotonoha is trying to reach a box on a shelf.
Yeah.
Which she seems to struggle with, because I guess she's too short, and Taisuke is standing right behind her, just looking at her ass.
That's part of it, but the thing I hated about it the most was Kotonoha in that shot. Because it's like, she's standing on her tippy toes, on some sort of like stand stool or something and reaching the box. And it's like 5 seconds. It's like 5 seconds of her just sort of reaching up there and being and literally not getting her head at all. While Taisuke is just looking at her ass. But it was so fucking awkward.
Like, Taisuke obviously sees that she can't reach the box. He's taller, and he's not attempting to help her. He just wants to look at her ass. Yeah. That's what really annoyed me about this shot.
That's the other thing that really annoyed me about it. It was a combination of a lot of things.
Then we can see the three of them, Makoto, Nanami.
That was the next thing that really pissed me off. Where we're getting out to,
Makoto, Nanami, and Hikari watching. All of them are watching them together.
Hikari is watching this through the doorway. And she's saying, what's Taisuke doing in there? Like, why is Taisuke like this with her? Like, he's staring at her ass. She's like, why is Taisuke doing this? Why is he putting so much attention on her? And this is what I talked about before. Like, holy shit, Hikari. How can you have a crush on this guy?
Do you even know who Taisuke is?
Have you ever met him? He spends literally every single scene ogling women. That's literally all he does. That's all his character entails.
There's nothing below the surface. There's nothing there.
Head empty, just horny.
So then, Taisuke asks Kotonoha out for the folk dance, which is at the end of the school festival. So after this, we can see Hikari behind the door, kind of like falling on her knees, super sad, because I guess Taisuke cheated on her. What a big surprise.
Cheated on her implies that they were in a relationship.
True.
I have a lot of questions about if that was actually the case. And then we see Makoto outside the door, who has the fucking audacity to call Taisuke an asshole.
Makoto, you disingenuous motherfucker.
Like, if anyone doesn't have the right to call someone, like, proposing to Kotonoha an asshole, it's fucking Makoto.
You do not deserve the right to feel jealous, Makoto.
What's your expectation here? Is it like, he can't do that, I'm gonna go to the fucking folk festival with her? No, you're not. No, you're not gonna. You're absolutely not gonna. You're gonna go with Sekai.
How dare you cheat on my girlfriend that I don't want to be with?
God, it made me so fucking angry. This part of the episode was hard to watch.
Taisuke says that all couples who go to this dance will not break up that year.
Implying that they're a couple.
Yeah, like, hold your horses. You're not in a relationship.
Smooth as gravel. It's amazing.
Taisuke also says that his sister told him this. So, I guess Taisuke has a sister confirmed.
We learned something new. Wait, is there a wiki entry on her?
There probably is.
We didn't look her up. We didn't look up Taisuke's sister.
I was about to look it up, but then I forgot about it. I did very bad research. I did not look that up.
We've been gone for a while. We're only getting back into it right now.
Taisuke compliments her from the pool episode. He said that she looked great there, and that he was really surprised to hear.
She was great there, as I think he actually said. So, like, not just looked. Like,
yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
It's kind of the nicest thing he said to a woman so far, so that's nice.
And he also said that he was really surprised to hear that Makoto is with Kotonoha. And even more surprised to hear that they broke up.
Yeah.
Which, thinking about it now, this is the first time she heard this.
Yeah.
Essentially, Makoto broke up with her by having Taisuke accidentally mention it.
But did he, though? Like, he never said he broke up with her. There was something Sakai said.
It is true, though.
It is true. It's absolutely true, but I don't think Makoto thinks it's true.
I think Kotonoha might, though. Because she's extremely shocked. She drops her box.
Yeah.
At the mention of this. And then she goes really angry at him.
Yeah, she reacts with outrage.
Yeah, she says, where would you even hear this? Why would you even think this? What are you talking about?
And then she runs out of the room, probably to find Makoto. And she's lucky. She's lucky there, because he's right outside the door.
She's right there. And then I thought, okay, I don't remember any details.
Yeah, same.
This might be like a great confrontation time.
Same.
But then, Nanami.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, we haven't really heard that much about, like, Nanami's relationship to anyone.
Yeah, up to this point, Nanami was mostly, like, kind of nice and cool. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of tomboyish, nice and cool.
But then she just gets extremely aggressive on Kotonoha and is like, so now you're hitting on Taisuke as well?
Yeah, like, she attacks them for, like, being asked out, By Daisuke? The biggest sleazeball in the school?
It's not even that. It's like, she heard the entire conversation that was happening in there. She's purposefully lying.
Like, who even wants Daisuke? Like, okay.
I wrote here in my notes, why does everyone hate Kotonoha so much?
Yeah, it's so fucking wild.
I have a theory from events that happen later, especially towards the end of the show. Everyone wants to fuck Makoto. This is why everyone has to hate Kotonoha, and I legitimately believe that to be true.
Although, interestingly, I remember that from our last watch through. Nanami doesn't. Nanami never actually does it. She's like one of the few women in the show who never has sex with Makoto, as far as we know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Nanami's the exception. But like, yeah, she jumps between them, like fucking goes to town on Kotonoha, and then we have our amazing protagonist, our hero Makoto,
Doing absolutely shit all.
doing absolutely fucking jack shit, standing behind her, raising his arm like lightly, like,
She even calls her a bitch.
yeah.
Then she runs off, and we see him like looking slightly angry back at
Yeah,
Kato.
like uncomfortable looking
I
back.
wrote Kato here. It's Nanami.
Yeah, he looks kind of, damn Nanami, why do you do this? After Kotonoha ran off, like doing nothing to
He did
calm her down.
absolutely nothing. Then we get a very short train scene.
Yeah.
Where we can see something amazing, which is Makoto actually unblocking Kotonoha from his phone.
Yeah, what I thought was interesting was that we don't see like the final click,
Yeah.
and I didn't remember that he actually unblocked her.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember
I didn't
that
remember,
happened in the show.
but I forgot that he blocked her in the first place.
No, I didn't forget that. I didn't forget that because of things.
I didn't. Because the last time that I watched this show, that we watched it together, was a year and 8 months ago.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit.
Hey, speaking of, let me check the watch. In 6 days, our second episode will have a 1-year anniversary.
Hey, that's nice.
The first episode we recorded on January 12th.
I mean, we
Last
basically
year.
did one a month, right? That's basically what it comes down to.
I mean, 13th episode, 13th month.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can actually manage the two episodes per
we
month.
wanted
thing.
to do twice as many.
Yeah.
But hey,
Hey, it's been a stressful year for all of us, right? It's been a stressful year.
so little time to do podcasts. You're never at home.
You know, it reminds me of this meme that I've seen once. It was like an Onion News article, which was like, man can't believe most stressful time of his life is not a great time to write a book. Anyways, to get back to the show. Makoto starts unblocking Kotonoha, and we don't actually see that he does it, but based on later context, we know that he does it in the end.
Yeah. So we're already at the last scene. It might be possible that this episode is shorter than the previous ones, but it might not be, because I think you told me that you have a lot to say about the last scene.
Yeah, that's like what I made half of my notes on, that last scene.
Yeah.
I think part of it is that we make our notes differently. You make more like... Your notes tend to be more what happens in the episode with some commentary, and my notes usually skip over huge chunks of what happens in the episode and just like focus on the juicy bits.
Yeah.
And I thought the final scene was very juicy.
I never do this because I always have trouble figuring out what the important stuff is.
Yeah.
I was really bad at school essays. I hated them.
I was also bad at school essays. I only got good at them at university.
Yeah, I just thought, you are bad at essays? You're studying linguistics.
I mean, the literal word essay. Like essay in the sense of what we learned as essays.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
Yeah. That's because you don't learn how to do them in high school. Anyways,
Yeah, you mentioned that to me.
Irrelevant. Let's get to this scene, because, yeah, there's a lot to this scene. A lot of meat on those bones. So, we cut to Makoto's room, basically.
Yeah. There, Makoto asks Sakai what she's so upset about.
Yeah. She's
And
clutching a pillow on his bed.
And I thought either he's an extreme idiot or he wants assurance on what of the horrible things that he did she's particularly angry about.
What is it this time? What has he done this time? It appears to be that Setsuna told her what had happened before.
Yeah.
That he met Kotonoha and then ran after her, even though Setsuna tried to hold him back.
Yeah. The next part's just confusing to me. I didn't know... You probably have better notes about it than I have. So Setsuna apologized to Sakai.
Yeah.
Sakai says that Setsuna apologized to her about something.
Yeah, probably for not being able to hold Makoto back in that moment.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
that's what I
sense.
assume.
Then Makoto says, because she was so mean to Kotonoha.
Yeah. You always keep saying that we're too cruel to Kotonoha, which she has done in earlier episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But Sekai is like... I have a few things to say about this. I wrote a bit down for the end of the episode about like Sekai's sort of arc right now. And yeah, how I basically see it is like originally she said to Setsuna that like blocking Kotonoha was too much. And that like being cruel to Kotonoha was not something that they should do, that they should be nicer to Kotonoha. But at this point she's basically like mentally arrived at those are good things. And, like, dropping Kotonoha completely is what should be happening at this point. Like, at least from Makoto's point of view. Like, she's at this point in the mind space of, they are broken up. And if I let him talk to Kotonoha again... Like, she understands Makoto good enough to know that if she lets the two of them be together again, their relationship is in danger. Because Makoto just goes after, like, anything. It goes after tits.
Yeah. So then someone... knocks at the door. And to my surprise, it was Kotonoha. I'd forgotten about this.
I'd also forgotten about this.
Yeah. So Kotonoha tracked him down. She says that she looked up his address. She also says that she can't speak to him at school.
Yeah. I also made note about
because
that.
He's avoiding her. Or other people make sure that he's avoiding her.
Yeah, right.
She also says that her phone has been acting up because he blocked her.
Which sort of raises the thought that, like, this is something that's gonna get more and more strong over the course of these episodes. And it's something that's been starting a while back.
Kotonoha's denial.
Kotonoha's denial. Like, she's trying to explain away while this happened. Which is understandable. That's probably something that a lot of people would do in this situation.
This was my this would be my explanation why she didn't go talk to Makoto. Maybe because she didn't want assurance that he blocked her.
Exactly. Like, she has concocted this version of events where what happened is that Makoto or her phone was wrong. Something was wrong with her phone, and that's why they couldn't talk to each other, and she didn't even just subliminally want confirmation that that's not true and that he actually blocked her.
Yeah. Then Makoto explains that this was a mistake that his phone had.
Which is less of an explanation and more gaslighting, but yeah.
And that it's fixed now, which is confirmation that he did in fact unblock her.
Yeah.
He's not admitting that he did.
Yeah. But he said he fixed it. So, baby steps, I guess. We then see a quick view of Sekai in the room.
Yeah.
Who's visibly upset by Makoto saying that because she realizes this means he unblocked her.
Yeah. So he's pretending to be sick because he can't let her come in because Sekai's still there. But she can see Sekai's shoes.
Yeah. She sees Sekai's shoes on the ground.
Yeah. She knows.
And while she doesn't press it, she's not like, is Sekai there with you? Because at this point, she probably has extremely lowered expectations and doesn't expect him to tell the truth in this situation. Mm-hmm. She just plays along with the situation and says, but she actually does something really proactive here. She presses the question, basically.
She asks him out to go to the dance with him.
Yeah.
Probably linked to what we heard before with this myth that if you dance, you're not going to break up for the rest of the year.
And also because Taisuke brought this whole situation up.
Yeah. Also, isn't it like the end of the year?
I think it's the end of the year.
That's kind of sad then, isn't it? Like, the dance, you're not going to break up for the next 3 weeks until the year ends.
I assume for the next school year is what's meant at this point. Mm. Also, does Japan, share Chinese New Year? I know a lot of Asian countries share that. And that's 1 or 2 months later, I think. Maybe it's that, I don't know.
She says that Taisuke said that they broke up and that that's really weird that she did.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, right, Makoto?
Right, Makoto?
Yeah, at this point she's actively forcing it.
He's making annoying noises. He does a lot of annoying noises.
Yeah.
We don't mention that enough. Basically. I think it was pretty close.
We basically see Sekai too in this situation, who's basically lying down and rotting on the ground.
Yeah.
She's okay, he's not gonna say anything good in this situation. I'm pretty clear about that.
She also probably feels pretty horrible about the whole situation.
For
about the state
sides.
that Kotonoha is in.
Yeah.
And then he says that he'll think about it. And she says, okay, I'll take it
promise,
as a promise.
Then. Yeah. She's no, it's not, I'll take it as a promise. That's what I wrote down. That's the wildest thing, and I laughed out loud at this part of the episode. She says, it's a promise then? It's a question? And he closes the door.
Yeah, he just closes the door on her.
Oh, so it's a promise.
Bye. Didn't even say goodbye.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, but this shows their situation about it, right? Like, he's still absolutely not committed to absolutely anything. And she's taking it as, like, in this almost deluded stage she's in at this point. But not that deluded yet. There's still, like, a lot of logical reasoning going on here. With, like, her forcing the issue and all of that. She's taking it as a promise.
Yeah. And then Sakai leaves.
Yeah, Sakai is also done with his shit.
She's so done with this. He doesn't seem to understand why she's leaving because he's an idiot. And he says that she can't go outside because then she'll run into Kotonoha.
Which, like, ties into the whole thing we've had so far, which is, like, him trying to keep it hidden from Kotonoha.
Yeah.
What Sakai and him are doing.
Sakai says that she doesn't care anymore. Good.
Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck anymore at this point, which is a very adult thing to do. One of the rare adult moments. Actually, like, the end of this episode is pretty powerful, I feel. It's, like, pretty strong.
So she runs outside, she takes the elevator down, and then, yes, she runs into Kotonoha.
Who has apparently been waiting at the side of the road, maybe for the bus.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe for Sakai.
Maybe. So I forgot about this as well.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have no idea how the next episode is going to start after this.
I'm afraid they're just going to forget about
it. That's what I'm assuming. So Kotonoha walks up to her. And
like in this creepy...
Yeah. In this I'm about to stab you way.
Like, I want to say that it's kind of weird and creepy because the camera's crooked in the Dutch angle, but the camera's always crooked in the Dutch angle.
Yeah, it's like also she's walking like very straight up and very unemotionally.
And then she says that she tricked her.
Yeah.
And then she slaps her in the face.
Yeah, he slaps her in the face, and that's where end credits come in.
Madness mode engaged.
I wrote down, this should be the end of the show. This is like a very good point. Like, Kotonoha has noticed that he's been playing with her together. She slaps her.
I think the problem here is that this is not what she says.
Yeah.
She says that Sakai tricked her.
Yeah.
Because this is, we've talked about this before, the chronicle issue of this show.
Yeah.
That people cannot blame Makoto for the things that he has to blame for.
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote some things down at this point of the episode that, as you just said, for me kind of illuminate the issues with school days. Because throughout this episode, as I've mentioned before, I've been thinking things like, okay, like Sakai previously said that blocking Kotonoha was wrong and that it shouldn't be done by Setsuna and that they should be nicer to Kotonoha, but now she's acting very differently. And things like, okay, why is Kotonoha completely in denial about this whole thing? Like, why doesn't she talk to Makoto? And by the end of the episode, we get a really good feeling for why these characters are acting that way. Like, what brought them to this situation? To me, it's like a logical character arc that these characters are going through right now. And, like, actually an interesting character arc, in my opinion. Like, we have Kotonoha in denial. She has this thing with, my phone is acting up, like, thinking, okay, he's not really, like, cheating on me. Something's going wrong there. She avoids bringing it up to Makoto in school while Setsuna is around, because last time she talked to Makoto in school with Setsuna around, Setsuna blocked her from his phone, and was like ultra aggressive to her. So she can't talk to him in school while others are around because others keep putting themselves between them, and she's noticed this. So that's why she's like being proactive. She's tracking him down. She's going to his home, assuming he's gonna be there alone, because she noticed he's very different with her when they're alone to when they're in front of others. And she assumes he is being pressured into this whole situation. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have Sakai, who doesn't want to hurt Kotonoha and is unhappy about the whole blocking situation, but thinks it's the right thing at this point anyways. And she's unhappy with Makoto, like, undoing it, which is understandable in this situation, even if it's, like, kind of a shitty thing to want her to be blocked in the first place. She's conflicted. She wants to still be with him, and she thinks the thing with Kotonoha is finally over. She's finally out of the picture at this point. And she comes in and, like, Makoto immediately proves to her that it's not
literally
over.
comes in.
Yeah, literally comes in. Makoto, like, literally proves he's thinking about it. Like, he's still undecided. He still doesn't want to completely drop Kotonoha. And, in my opinion, this should be the episode where Sakai, like, doesn't come back to him. Like, where she completely leaves him. Because Kotonoha is, like, at this point, psychotically obsessed with him.
So now that you figured out the reasonable character arc of Kotonoha and the reasonable character arc of Sakai, hey, what's the reasonable character arc of Makoto?
And that's the issue. That's the issue that I have with the show. Like, we have a scene where Kotonoha asks him if he'll go to the dance with her, and he seems kind of upset about this. He seems like this is the point that I talked about before, where it looks like Makoto's feeling regret in a way, where you can see his face and he's like clearly in pain in some way. And there's not enough of that.
He never reflects enough on his mistakes.
Yeah, this whole episode, like the whole him not realizing why Setsuna is trying to get him away from Kotonoha and not realizing why Sekai is mad about the Kotonoha situation. All of this just works if Makoto's the biggest fucking idiot and can't perceive anything around him and can't put A and B together and doesn't understand anything that's going on at this point. And he's our protagonist. Like, he's the one where we want to see where things go. And it's not a complex thing. It's not that he's a shitty person. It's not that... That's not how the anime portrays it. That would be interesting. That would be an interesting idea. The main character just being a complete sociopathic monster. That's not how the anime portrays it. The anime portrays it as him not even noticing that there's anything wrong.
So you're basically saying School Days is like Titanic if the protagonist was the iceberg.
I mean, kinda. The issue is
School Days is a catastrophe show about the catastrophe.
In a way, yeah. He's ruining the life of everyone around him, and he's changed so little by it. He's such an... That's, again, we come back to this thing that we talked about before, where I think that a lot of Makoto's issues can be brought back to him being like the player character from the visual novel, basically. Where he doesn't have to change. He's just a replacement effect for you. And it's really frustrating that we have characters that, in my opinion, could have a better anime. That could have a more interesting romance story. Looking at School Days this close, you really see a lot of their development. The weak link in the chain is Makoto. And that's not going to change, because he was designed that way.
It's so strange.
It's so strange.
Who makes a show like this?
Maybe we'll figure out more about it.
Maybe we'll find him.
I find... After we've watched so much of School Days, like, my perspective on School Days has changed a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine too.
Since we started watching this show. Like, there's a lot more under the surface here. And... like, we haven't done an episode in a while. And last time we talked about the show, I was in a very, like... I don't enjoy any of this place. Like, watching the show. I didn't enjoy watching the show at all for the first half of this episode. But this half of this episode, like, really made me think... What more is there? Like, what other stuff is there that I've never seen before that could be really interesting to look at? The feeling with which we started this show is back for me, and I'm excited about that.
Okay, that's nice.
Next episode is episode 8.
Actually, yeah. Are we actually excited about the next episode?
Well, the next episode is called The Festival.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I remember.
So...
Hell.
I actually am excited about it. Because I remember that a lot of stuff happened at that festival.
Yeah, it's gonna be some, huh?
My least favorite moment in School Days, I think, is there. Like, one of my top 3 least favorite moments. I'm not gonna narrow it down into number 1. It involves a lot of that Catgirl costume. A lot of Catgirl costumes. Mm. Be excited for that. A lot more of that idol is going to be in the next episode.
This is like the trailer for the next episode?
This is the trailer for the next episode. Next time on Kill the Author.
More Catgirls.
More Setsuna.
More hate.
More Makoto.
No. We shouldn't mention that in the ad.
Nobody's going to watch it. Anyways, you're gonna... Or listen to it. Nobody's going to listen to it. But anyways, you're gonna... And...
We'll totally make another one. Wait, I feel like it's obligatory to mention the order of the credits image.
Okay.
Because I always do for some reason.
Yeah, we can't forget about that.
It's Kotonoha, then Sekai, then Setsuna, then Hikari, then Kato, even though she was a pretty small role in this episode. Nanami, the squad, then Kokoro for some reason. She wasn't even
in this episode. Maybe she was in the first half? I don't think so.
And then Sekai and Kotonoha. Also, the credit song's a banger in this one.
I remember it being good, but I think it happened... I think we got that one before. Like, I think I remember this one from another episode. Yeah, it was a good one.
I started ignoring the credit song of the first episode.
Yeah, same. I mean, the lyrics might mean something again at some point.
Maybe we
should look into them.
The last one at least, because that's the one that I will always remember.
I tend to... Yeah, same. I tend to end my notes when School Days, the title shows up at the end, like right before the credits. You're the one who's belligerent enough to look at the end credits, actually.
Yeah, but I only do this to write down the images. I don't
Well,
even know why. I just do it.
Maybe in the end the whole puzzle will fit together and we'll learn something important about the meaning of friendship or whatever.
Maybe if we assign a number to every name and then put all of the credits in the correct order, we can decipher the code and find out why School Days is.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but I admire your optimism. Anyways.
I have to hold on to something, okay?
It has to amount to something. Anyways, guys, this was, guys and gals and everybody else, this was School Days, Kill the Author, episode 13.
Episode the lucky number.
The lucky, unlucky number. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I don't know, probably Valentine's Day soon.
Inauguration.
Depends on when we actually finish editing this episode. Anyways, see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.